Hello and welcome to episode 9 of Acquire English Live. My name is Adam and I'm here as always with Tuan. Tuan, how is everything with you today?
Yeah, not bad.
Good. So thanks to everyone for watching all of our videos. We're trying to put up as many as possible each week. I'd like to do one a day, but it's hard to do sometimes. So we're trying to put out several a week, and we're also working on our online courses. Now we kind of have a few different kinds of videos. Of course, we have these Acquire English Live videos, and we have the sort of phrasal verbs or grammar videos, which are more informational videos. And the other ones are just the Acquire English videos. And those ones have the five-step process of going through. And those, I would say, are the most important videos we have for the people watching, at least. And the reason is because those are the videos that work on your fluency, that work on your listening and speaking. Would you agree with that, Tuan?
Yeah, they're more practical. People can actually exercise with them.
Right. So, I mean, obviously we think the other videos, the informational videos, are important. If we didn't think they were important, we wouldn't make them. But the Acquire English videos with the conversations, if you go through that process, and especially part 4, the overlapping, or some people call that shadowing, where you're speaking along with us, speaking along with the conversation. Those are the ones that really are going to improve your overall speaking, listening, pronunciation. And the reason is because when we have that information in our brain, that's great, but we need it to be able to come out quickly. And those videos are really training you to have that speaking ability, have that to just be on the tip of your tongue, coming out really without thinking. And that's what we want with speaking. We don't want long pauses to think in between while we're talking. So we really, really encourage people to work on that, to practice with those videos. Because information really you can get from anywhere, but you need that training to go along with it. So again, we really hope people are training with the Acquire English videos. So anyway, in today's video, we're talking about being late. So Tuan, are you a punctual person? Are you usually on time? What do you think?
Usually, yeah. But there's been a few times where I have a problem with the train.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah, I would say I'm a bit of an anxious person, so I don't like to be late. I don't like to rush. It doesn't work well with my personality. So I generally try to be on time, or if I can, early for anything. I try to show up 10 to 15 minutes early for anything possible, because otherwise I get nervous and get anxious, and I get in a bad mood, which is usually results in some sort of argument with my wife, because she's the opposite. She doesn't mind arriving just right at that moment when something starts, but yeah, I like to get there very early. So anyway, let's get into today's conversation. Of course, Tuan and I are talking, so let's check it out. Sorry I had to cut our meeting short yesterday.
No problem at all. Did you make it in time for the start of the match?
Actually, something happened, so they didn't start on time. In the end, I didn't need to rush.
Well, that's how it goes sometimes.
Okay, and let's just get into it and go line by line to talk about that, to make sure we caught all of that. So, the first line here was, I say, sorry, I had to cut our meeting short yesterday. So as you can see in the picture, I'm saying sorry, I'm apologizing, and I am rushing out of a meeting. So sorry, I had to cut our meeting short means I'm sorry for ending our meeting earlier yesterday. So cut short, cut something short means end it or finish it earlier than you would normally do that. So to cut short. And of course, when we say I'm sorry, we can say I'm sorry I did something, I'm sorry I had to, or I'm sorry for doing something, I'm sorry for ending, I'm sorry for being late, I'm sorry for saying that. Maybe I use that one a lot at home. Okay, and the next one, Tuan says?
No problem at all.
Right, so no problem at all. It's completely okay. Of course, at all means completely. It's completely okay, no problem. Next line.
Did you make it in time for the start of the match?
Right, did you make it in time for the start of the match? So we use make it a lot in this situation. Of course, make has the normal meaning of to create something, right? To make coffee, to make a presentation. But in this case, did you make it in time means did you arrive in time? Did you arrive before the game started? And in time, in time we will get into here shortly, we'll talk a bit more, but this just means did you arrive before the game started? My next line is, actually, something happened, so they didn't start on time. So this says something happened. In the picture, you can see there is we call this a streaker. Do you use that in British English as well? Do you say streaker?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, same thing. Yeah, so taking off your clothes in a public place and running around is called streaking. So just if you ever need to know that word. And a person who does that is called a streaker, right? So that's something, that's what happened. Something happened, so they didn't start on time, just means there was a delay, so they didn't start as scheduled. Okay? So start on time, in this case, means as scheduled. And we'll talk about that more again in a second here. Next line. I said, in the end, I didn't need to rush. So this in the end is kind of hard to explain here, but just means now I know or now I understand I didn't need to leave in a hurry. So at the time of the meeting, I thought, oh, I have to rush, I have to get out. But again, because they didn't start on time, I realize now that I didn't need to leave in a hurry. So that's what this in the end means. So at the time I didn't know, but finally or eventually I did know that I didn't need to rush. It wasn't important to leave the meeting early. Okay? And the final sentence.
Well, that's how it goes sometimes.
Right, that's how it goes sometimes. Just means sometimes that happens. So maybe this goes can be kind of a difficult part. I mean, even when we say hi to each other in English, we often say, how is it going, right? Same type of go in this situation. Doesn't mean go somewhere, but that's how that's what happens sometimes. Sometimes that happens. Are you okay? Tuan, did you have anything to add there?
No.
Okay. So let's get into the grammar points for today. And we had this in time versus on time in the conversation. So let's start with in time. We say in time or be in time for something, in time to do something. And that means soon enough or before the start. Okay. So our example sentence we had was, did you make it in time for the start of the match? So down here, we can see the start is right here. Were you right there when it started? Or before is also okay. But after the start means you were not in time. Okay, these two red X's would be not in time. this blue one, or maybe we could even move this blue one a little bit over, something like that, means you're in time for the start, right? You were there soon enough or before the start. Hopefully that makes sense there. Did I explain that well enough, Tuan?
Yeah, just before the start time, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this before the start is kind of the main point there, before the start. Okay, so that's in time. On time means not late, or means punctual, or according to the schedule. So often a game will have a schedule, or a train or a bus will have a schedule. If it's on time, it means according to the schedule. So the example sentence we had was something happened, so they didn't start on time. So the actual scheduled start time was here, but it didn't start on time. So maybe this actually would move over this way. That would mean they didn't start on time. This was the scheduled start time, but actually they started late because of, in that situation, the streaker. Is that okay? So that's on time, means not late or punctual or according to the schedule. So again, if you are late for a meeting, we would say you are not on time. Okay, did I miss anything there, Tuan?
In the airport, when you see all the planes, does it say on time?
Yeah, it does. It does. It'll say on.
Right? Yeah.
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 So it'll say on time, or it will say delayed.
Mm.
Right. Or if you're very unlucky, it will say canceled. Right. So that's worst case scenario, it says canceled. Best case scenario says on time. Right. So it means it's scheduled as it was always scheduled. Nothing changed, on time. Okay. So next, so let's just cover those one more time. So in time for something, or in time to do something, means soon enough or before the start. Okay. On time means kind of not late, punctual, according to the schedule. So these can be a little confusing, but I think after we run through some examples here, this will be easier to understand. So it's time for me to quiz Tuan on some of these. So number one, it says the bus is usually, but it was late this morning. What do you think? The bus is usually...
So a bus usually has a schedule, so you can see the time for it. So we would say on time.
On time. The bus is usually on time, but it was late this morning. Is that okay? There's our example sentence. The bus is usually on time. Again, like Tuan says, the bus has a schedule, but it was late this morning. Okay. Number two says, we nearly missed our train, but we got to the station just, and let's give the people watching a couple seconds here. So we got to the station just... Okay, what do you think, Tuan?
So we didn't miss the train. So because we didn't miss the train, we are before the train left. So we got there just in time.
Yes, just in time. And you'll see just in time. You'll see in time with just a lot. Means it was very, very close, but we made it just in time. This is also used in some business situations as well with deliveries. People don't want their deliveries early. They don't want to have lots of goods in their warehouse. So like a manufacturer would get the parts they need that day that they're going to use them. And they call that just-in-time delivery. So if you're in manufacturing, you might be familiar with, sometimes they call it JIT, but just-in-time delivery, okay? And number three, the train service isn't very good. The trains are rarely... What do you think, Tuan?
So again, the trains they run on a schedule. So because it's not good, it'll be rarely on time.
On time, right. I've heard this is how the trains are in the UK. Is that correct?
Yeah, they're rarely on time.
Even like in London, the trains are not
Oh, yeah, definitely.
oh, definitely not on time.
And they'll be on different platforms. They change platforms all the time.
Oh, that sounds like a mess. Yeah.
You see people looking at the timetables, then the platform will change and everyone will be running one direction, but then to change again, everyone will be running the other direction.
Nice. Sounds like chaos. Yeah, I think we in Japan we're a little spoiled here. Sounds like I'd only been on a public train once before I moved to Japan. That was before I moved to Japan. I went to New York City and rode the subway. But like 1 week before I moved to Japan, I was in New York. But so I have very little experience with trains or any public transportation for here. But in Japan, trains are almost always on time or generally on time unless there's an accident. Okay, number 4 says, the game was supposed to start at 8:30, but it didn't begin. What do you think, Tuan?
So this one's like our example. It's the game. They have a start time, like a schedule. So we would say it didn't begin on time.
Right, didn't begin on time. Again, because there's a schedule. And if you didn't understand this, supposed to, right? The game was supposed to start at 8:30. We use supposed to say that there's a plan. It should start, or in this case, should have started because it's the past at 8:30. We can use supposed to mean should. Okay. And number 5, I've just washed this dress. I want to wear it later, so I hope it will be dry. What do you think, Tuan?
So we want to wear it at a certain time, but there's no schedule for the time that we want to wear it. It's just very loosely done. So generally for things with no schedule, it will be in time.
Right, in time, right? I hope it will be dry in time means in time for me to wear later, right? But again, no schedule. Number 6, I almost forgot that it was my friend's birthday. Fortunately, I remembered. Okay.
So it's fortunately, it's a good thing. I remembered before the birthday. So I remembered in time.
Right. In time. You remembered your friend's birthday before your friend's birthday was finished, right? So it's in time, means it's not late. So, of course, I think these days, in general, it's probably okay to say happy birthday late, but to some people, but in time is best, remembering in time. And number 7, why are you never, you always make us wait. So why are you never in time or on time? Okay.
This one's a little tricky, maybe. So why are you never before the time, but we would say on time? This one's maybe a little different, yeah, from the other ones.
Right. Why are you never on time? I think because it's talking about, a general routine. You're never on time. There's always a schedule or a set time that we have planned to meet. That's why this one's a little different. because and the other ones we have start at 8:30, or the trains in general. It's maybe similar to this one. But you're never on time for our planned meeting time, right? We do have a schedule. We do have a plan to meet. But every time it's different. It's many different times. But in the States, we'd always say, why are you never on time? Maybe okay. Again, if you ever have questions with these, why is that one on time? Why is that one in time? You can always ask us in the comment section. We'd be happy to help. And actually we wish more people would ask questions in the comment section. Okay, last one. So far you're 7 for 7, Tuan, good job. So number 8, no pressure. We need to start the meeting, so please don't be late.
So this one, the meeting has a starting time, a scheduled time. So we would say we need to start the meeting on time.
We need to start the meeting on time, so please don't be late. Congratulations, you got all of the right answers.
Thank you.
I promise I won't say that I showed you all of these before we started. Oops, okay. Anyway, in time or on time. And as Tuan did a really good job explaining there as he went along, on time, we have that sort of set time to start, right? That set scheduled time. So when you have that scheduled time, like the bus is on time, the trains are on time. Trains have a schedule. The game has a scheduled start time. So we would use on time in that situation. Every time we meet, generally, we say we're going to meet at 7. We say we're going to meet at noon. We have a time, so on time. And again, meetings have a scheduled start time, so we use on time. Okay? And the end times, basically, we don't miss the beginning of something. We are present. We are there for the beginning of something. Maybe okay? Anything to add today, Tuan?
You can find the full video, and there's the practice part. So yeah, go on. Don't forget part 4, overlapping.
Right.
Yeah, get practicing on that, and yeah, give it a try if you never tried it before. But yeah, follow the steps, give it a try, and yeah, not just the one time. It's quite hard to maybe get it right first time. So of course, yeah, give it a few practices, and you might be surprised.
Yeah, exactly. We really can't emphasize that much. And I always tell people, this is the main way I study Japanese. That's how I worked on it. And of course, I studied a little bit of grammar. I studied vocabulary kind of separately. But when I wanted to work on my speaking and listening, that was my number one method to do it. And that was my sort of motivation to make these videos for my students, was that I truly believe it works, and it worked for me, and there's a lot of people out there who have been doing it. So yeah, please give it a try.
Yeah, I think lots of people, they think they know it. They do know it, maybe. They can see it, they can understand it, they can choose the right answer. But using it and saying it is a different matter. Maybe they cannot actually use the language.
Yeah, we've been talking about this a lot. As teachers, it's always it's easy to always want to teach something new. And I think as a learner, it's always like, oh, I want to learn something new. But we really need to be able to use it. So if your goal for English is just to take a test, just be able to pass IELTS or something like that, maybe it's not as important for speaking. But if you really want to speak, you really want to have conversations with people, that training aspect is super important. So, and again, we're probably going to say this just about every single video we make from now on. We think it's that important. I don't know what else to do. I was saying earlier to Tuan that I'm starting to get a little a little angry with some of my students who refuse to do it, but I promise you it'll help with your speaking, listening, pronunciation. Okay. And I believe that's it for us today. So be on the lookout for some more videos this weekend or next week. We'll just keep putting them out there as long as people keep watching. So thanks as always, and we will see you again next time. Thank you.